Hey everybody, this is Mike from A to Zen, and I am excited to already start announcing that we are working on Friends of the Zen Den Volume 2. And I am so honored that one person who has been coming to open mic for a long time, Stewart Nickson, who is one of my favorite songwriters in the whole thing. I love the songs that you write. But I wanted to introduce you guys to Stewart Nickson. He's here at open mic playing on a regular basis. And he's been kind enough to offer Nevada, My Old Friend as one of the songs of Volume 2 of Friends of the Zen Den. So I just wanted to get to know you a little bit more, Stewart. We visit on Friday. I'm always busy. I don't really get a chance to hang out very much.
Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate the introduction. I usually show up on Friday nights. Sometimes I play, sometimes I don't play.
Right.
But
I'm always disappointed when you don't.
well, thank you. I enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy being here no matter what, whether I'm playing or whether I'm not playing.
Right.
And this is a great place to try out new stuff. Of course,
Right.
open mic nights is a good thing, and I'm retired from the casino industry.
Is that what brought you to Nevada?
Yeah. I came to Nevada when I was 22 years old.
22?
22.
You were just barely old enough to go in a casino at the time.
Just barely. Yeah.
What'd you do for the casinos?
I worked as a casino dealer, table games dealer, and I didn't do too much management or anything like that, but I enjoyed the dealing with people and working dice games and card games in the sense of blackjack and other things, roulette. I worked all those, and one of the things that did keep my sanity along the way was the fact that all the time I worked in the business, I also played the guitar. I'd come home and I usually try and play an hour a day, which was if you're working full time, to find an hour a day to play the guitar, is pretty much about the max you're going to get.
For sure.
And I just never stopped. I always, over the years, the older I got, the more I played, the more I played, the more I learned, the more I learned, the more I wrote, the more I wrote, the more I liked to play. It's just a big, vicious...
I wish you guys could see, if you haven't been to open mic with us here at A to Zen, you're talking an acoustic flair. I love your style of playing. He
Thank you.
has a... How would I describe Stewart's playing? You have a gentleness and finesse with an acoustic guitar that I have grown to highly appreciate. You play wonderfully well, and your subtleties in the nature of what you play is something that impresses me on a regular basis.
Well, thank you. That's one of the things that I tried to do over the years was play in a certain style, which is finger picking, what you would call steel string guitar,
Right.
finger picking, as opposed to just strumming the chords and things like that. And I have always felt it kind of offered a lot more of what I was looking for in the guitar.
Well, and you're quite a lyricist too. So, what inspired you to write? Because now you've enlightened me to. You were a table dealer for all of your adult life. That's what it sounds like here in Nevada.
Yeah, exactly.
Here in northern Nevada most of the time, or were you down in Vegas for a while?
Vegas. Here, I'll give you like a quick rundown of my career
Okay.
in the casino industry. I started working in the table games in casinos in May of 1968, and I worked till
I was a month old, Stewart. I was literally a month old.
Wow. Well, that's historical. And anyways, I worked till in Las Vegas till September of 1983.
Wow.
And at that point, the only other state that had legal gambling was New Jersey. New Jersey opened up gambling in 1978. And so in 1983, I decided to go east and work in the casinos in Atlantic City, because I knew shall we say, the Pandora's box had been open. You know, it was, the casino industry was just about to start to go
Out.
And so I went to Atlantic City and worked, and it was great in the sense it was a very good learning experience. I didn't like the weather so much, but I enjoyed the business itself. And after 3 years, I came back for a couple of years.
Back to Las Vegas?
Yeah, came back to Las Vegas for a couple of years. And then in 1988, my brother was living in Beverly Hills, California. And so I decided to go stay with my brother and get away from the business, get away from the gambling business. I had studied a little bit of acting, so I wanted to see what it was like to try and do some acting. And pretty much for 10 years, I was a actor / bum. pretty much. But it
In
was,
Beverly Hills. See, if you're
the
gonna
point.
do that, it sounds like you did it right.
That's the point. I was like the movie Down and Out in Beverly Hills.
Oh man,
I
that's
lived
funny.
I lived down there for 10 years, and it was all on one block in Beverly Hills, and so I thought I did pretty good in that sense. And I did a few little commercials, a bit part here.
I
a
had
bit
no
part
idea,
there.
Stuart. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was fun. It was interesting, but it just it wasn't. You weren't going to go anywhere really. There's one thing about acting in L.A. is there's two kind of actors. Really rich ones
Okay.
and really poor ones.
Okay.
I don't think in the 10 years that I was there, I knew anybody that made a middle class.
So there's no such thing as a middle class actor in Beverly Hills in the
No.
1980s.
No. And
So let's back up for just a second because
sure.
I like I said, I was a month old when you started, but my father played in the Nevada casinos all through the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
So that means you were a table dealer in Las Vegas through
Right.
the 70s when you're having a Nevada entertainment industry that is unlike anywhere else in the world at the time. So you're talking about a Nevada entertainment industry that was entertaining the Sammy Davis Jr.'s, the Dean Martins, Elvis Presley shows, Streisand, to take some knockoffs that maybe people barely remember, the old Shields and Yarnells and the Phyllis Dillers and the Don Rickles. Did you ever have any of those folks at any of your tables?
Well, I just in my general life living in Las Vegas, you would see people in grocery stores, and the thing that stands out most of anything was the fact that I did meet Elvis Presley.
You met Elvis.
I met Elvis. First time was in 1967. About a month after I came to Las Vegas, I was just walking around the old Aladdin, and here comes Elvis walking around. He sticks his hand out, says, "Hi, I'm Elvis Presley." And I said, "Mr. Presley, it's an honor to meet you." He says, "No, call me Elvis." And then he walks along and goes down and says hello to other people. And as another thing that I did was, he played at the International Hotel. He opened the International Hotel. That's where, when you see the movie Elvis and you see all the stage stuff, that was at the International Hotel.
Okay.
I opened that place as a dealer.
Really?
So I got to go backstage a lot, and I saw a lot of Elvis, a lot of his shows from backstage, which was just a whole different
That's
perspective.
historical, though. That's part of what I was fishing for with the question,
Yeah.
because when you're describing where you are, and my father
Yeah.
was up here in northern Nevada most of that time, although he
Right.
did play in Vegas. So you're telling me you dealt where the Elvis show opened, because he ended up what do you call it, resident in Vegas, or
Yeah,
what do you call that?
They call it a residency, and yeah, he would do 4 weeks in July, and I think 4 weeks in January.
Wow.
You know, and I saw, like I say, a number of his shows from backstage. I remember one time I got off work, and he did 2 shows a night. He did like an 8 o'clock show, then a midnight show, and so I got off. I worked day shift. Got off from noon to late. I worked, and I walked back. So one night I'm walking back, and the band is just start playing, and so I walk around all the way around the other side of the stage, away from the main walkway going behind the stage, and I'm sitting there looking, or standing there looking through a crack in the curtain at the audience, and I'm thinking that's really great. And then as I turn to my right, here comes Elvis and about 4 or 5 guys, you know, pounding him on his shoulder like, you know, a boxer going to a fight, you know.
Right.
And they were calling him E. They wouldn't call him Elvis. They were calling him E. Oh, hey, E, go get him, E. This will be a great night, E. And he's walking past me, and I had to back up against the wall because he's a foot away from me.
Wow.
And he goes in, and he gets ready, and he all of a sudden the band, you know, da da da, and the curtain opens up, and he's got this cape, you know, and he's like 5 feet in front of me doing all this.
Wow.
And that was really interesting, to say the least.
I can't even imagine, because I mean, that's historical stuff, Stewart. And I mean,
Yeah.
you're sitting there with it happening like feet away from you,
Yeah, literally feet away from
and
me.
actually getting to see backstage.
Yeah.
The things you're describing, I'm just like, wow.
It was open. But one of the really interesting things was every time I saw him from backstage, his father would be sitting off to the side, sitting in a little old wooden chair, a couple of guys next to him holding an ashtray. He'd be smoking, and he'd be, you know, and they'd hold the ashtray to him, and he'd tap his cigarette, you know, and the ashes would go into the ashtray. And but I thought that was neat that his dad was there for every show,
His dad was there for every single show.
every single show.
Wow.
Well, the ones that I saw, so
Right.
I assumed that he was there for every show.
So when you met him, just out of curiosity, I mean, was he personable? Was he friendly to you?
Elvis, he was. This was a few months before his 1968 comeback special,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so what happened? I was standing in the casino, and there was nobody around me. There was about 15 feet away from me. There was a dealer on an empty roulette game, and a pit boss behind him, and they were the only people that were close to me. And as I'm looking towards some slot machines, I see some people walking around. Like a little bit of a crowd, and it was real dead at the time. And out from between the slot machines comes Elvis Presley.
By himself, or is he with an entourage?
He's got an entourage, but they're behind him, about 15 feet.
Right. Okay.
They're just following him around. And so here comes Elvis from out between the slot machines, and he looks me dead in the eye. And he's like 40 feet away.
Wow.
And he comes walking towards me. And he never took his eyes off me. He had this nice smile, And I'm thinking, Elvis is looking at me. Elvis is going to come up and shake my hand. What do I do? So I stand there, and he says, "Hi, I'm Elvis Presley." And like I said before, and he was, without a doubt, the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. He had the jet black hair. It was the middle of winter. He had the suntan, of course, sharkskin suit, black turtleneck sweater, white patent leather shoes. It looks like he stepped out of that 1968 special. It's exactly what he looked like. As if he stepped off the stage from that special and walked in front of me, that's what he looked like. And it's just, what a memory,
I don't have anything that even references like what you experienced, but I've always been curious about icons like Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe, those types of icons, because and you're describing it right now. You're talking about people that possess some type of innate charisma.
He oozed charisma.
But it's almost an intangible, because I never experienced it firsthand like you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing you say, wow, this guy just walking up has this presence that is beyond talent. It is beyond.
It was just amazing.
Wow.
And a lot of things, that's Elvis. Las Vegas at the time was going through, of course, it changes all the time.
But Las Vegas not changing.
But but it was.
I don't want to see it now.
But it was still the end of that old era, the Rat Pack and all that stuff. It was kind of that era, I was at Caesar's Palace when Evel Knievel jumped the fountain.
No way.
I was there. I was in the crowd,
Wow.
There must have been about 10,000 people there. That was interesting. And
now the freestyle guys go do it and do backflips, But you were actually there when Elvis jumped the fountains at Caesar's.
Not Elvis.
Evel Knievel.
Yeah.
My bad. But
that's all right.
what a thing to be around. So that brings us back around the horn. The song you're putting on Volume 2 of Friends of the Zen Den is Nevada, My Old Friend.
Yeah.
It's a strong expression of what's this song about?
Well, because, and like I say, I went down to L.A. for 10 years in 1988 and came back in 1998 and retired in 2012. So the last 14 years after being in L.A. For 10 years, I came back to Vegas and, put together my retirement, retired. And so here I am. And it was fun. It was interesting. I'm glad I went to L.A. because it got me away from the business for 10 years. Just
casinos are a different world. I grew up around them, so I understand an element of that.
What had happened was when I went down to L.A., I had spent, pretty much 20 years in the casinos. And I figured, well, it took me 20 years to claw my way to the bottom. so here it was.
Right.
And the fact of that, chasing acting jobs and stuff like that, going to auditions and, the whole typical life got me away from the business and it allowed me to come back, and finish up my career and retire, Had I not been down to L.A., I'd have probably burned out at some point, and who knows what I would be doing. I might have sold my guitar, and that's it.
What a thing to sidebar and go do, though, Stewart. I mean, okay, I'm going to take a break from dealing at tables, and I'm going to go be a starving actor in Beverly Hills. I mean, okay. I mean,
stupid.
I mean, what a choice. But I mean,
hey, I lived across the street from Shelley Winters.
oh wow, that's so you were there through the '80s. You said you were in Beverly.
88 to 98.
Wow.
Yeah, and the one thing I by being there and not in the casino business, I did shall we say, miss a lot of the opening and the spreading of the casino business. You know, Indian casinos,
Right.
different states opening. Mississippi opened after New Jersey, and then all of a sudden everybody was, doing this and doing that, and especially the Indians, because they had their own nations,
Yeah, well, you're off doing your thing. Did you acquire any work when you were in Beverly Hills? What did you do? You must have landed something.
A line here, a line there. A bit of I did a train air conditioning commercial, which, those are the kind of things you strive for, because just to keep it a secret, I worked one day in a train air conditioning commercial. I made $20,000
Did you really make $20,000
off of one commercial.
a single train ad?
Yep.
You're talking
Yeah.
air conditioning on. Their old slogan used to be "It's a train."
Yeah.
20 grand.
Yeah. And plus 5,000 more, because I was able, once you do the work, you can go for unemployment. so because you're out of work, because the work is done, the job is done until you get another job. So in reality, I made 25,000.
For train ad.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I don't have a perception of that. I have
I
a
know it.
perception of,
Yeah.
okay, I land commercial space in, because
Right.
I've never done any of this. I have no idea.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, I go and do this gig for a couple $100.
Yeah.
But you actually got 20 grand.
Yeah. Most of the stuff was a couple $100 that I did here and there. Remember the program called Quantum Leap?
Oh, yeah.
They have, Scott Bakula used to be, he'd look into a mirror and he would take that for, well, the episode called A Little Miracle was the Christmas episode. I'm the man in the mirror. So
What did you get paid for that?
I probably made a couple thousand off of that.
So when you did land work, you made
A little bit here, a day here, 90210. I was a roulette dealer. Go figure. Nobody knew how to,
So you were actually in things that I would recognize, because every show
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, if you look up that Quantum Leap episode called A Little,
We're gonna have to look it up. We're gonna have to see.
I'm on the screen for like
See if I can find it on the
like 2 seconds,
Right.
and that's it. But you'll see me. You'll see it's me. Yeah.
What'd you do on 90210?
A roulette dealer.
Oh, you were saying that. That's right.
Yeah. And there was a program called Shannon's Deal, where I was a poker dealer. Then I did Jake and the Fat Man. I was a dice dealer. So that kind of special.
Oh, you ended up getting pigeonholed into the role that you were good at.
Yeah. The only thing I was good at. And there just wasn't enough of it. And but it was interesting. It was fun. Like I say, I did 10 years and got out of there.
Wow. Took his train money and ran.
Yeah.
Stewart, thank you so much. I've known you for a few years.
Right.
I had no idea. It's been such a pleasure to just sit down and.
Did you want to talk about my song or anything?
I do. I want to know, because that's
Oh,
how we
okay.
were doing it, but we did. I want to know
Yeah.
what the premise of my old Nevada, my old friend is, and what the song's about.
Well, basically, I felt I was born and raised in the Midwest, and it was nice and all, but I really like it out west.
Okay.
And I like Nevada, and I had only been up northern Nevada a couple times during the years, and when I retired in 2012, I decided to come up here because I knew I'd like it. and which I do. The only problem is previous to that, working in the gambling business, you couldn't make any money up here. The money wasn't,
Right. Okay.
As a dealer, up here you'd make 25% of what you'd make down in Las Vegas. So the last job I had was Planet Hollywood, and so I was making decent money. So I knew if I made decent money at the job, I'd make decent money at Social Security when I retired, and they had a 401k program. So I decided, let's work on taking care of myself, and when I do retire, I'll scoot up north. And I came up here. A friend of mine I grew up with, his brother had a house in Sparks, and so I stayed there for a number of years, and then moved in with a lady in Carson City, and ended up where I'm at now in Carson City. And I really like Carson City. Of all the places, when I first came up here and started looking around, Carson City appealed to me the most.
Yeah, I like it here too.
It's really, you've got the best. You got a town of about 60,000, and it's only 20 miles away from a town of a couple 100,000.
Yep.
So you've got the advantage of a real big town, and you're in a town that's not so big. And I think that's really.
I wholeheartedly agree on multiple facets, because you got Reno, you got just over the hill to one of the most beautiful places in the world in Lake Tahoe.
Exactly.
Literally a hop, skipping, and jumping away. Or you can go east to nothing.
I know it.
So I mean, that's part of why I really like Carson so much. So I
Yeah.
agree with you. Is you have all, other than the ocean. That's the only thing that lacks here.
Yeah, but and there again, it's not that far away.
No, it's not. It's really
So
not.
I really like Nevada, and so I kept on coming up with this song, Nevada. What I like about Nevada, Nevada, my friend, Nevada, my old friend. And once I got that, Nevada, my old friend, then the song came. And one of the technical things about the song is I wanted to make sure that during the course of the song that I would say the word Nevada a number of times without getting overly sappy with it or anything like that.
Right.
And so it was just one of those things where I just I did the first verse when I was living in Sparks, and I didn't do the second verse till a couple of years later. And just one day the second verse came, and the way the song is now is, what I have, what's there, So that's basically what explains that.
Nice. We'll probably fish it out and play it for you. We've already recorded it. It's a great song.
Oh, great.
If you guys ever, Stewart's a regular at open mic here on Friday. If you ever want to come down and see him or meet him, it's been a real pleasure. I had no idea a lot of this history. I've really appreciated just sitting and visiting with you for a few
Well, I
minutes.
enjoyed this tremendously.
Okay, guys, this has been Mike from A to Zen. Keep an eye open for Volume 2. We're already working on Volume 2 of Friends of the Zen Den. Stewart, right here next to us. Thank you for being a guest. We'll see you guys all soon.
Thank you.
Thanks to Big John sitting over in the production
That's
chair.
right, Mr. John.